I understand it now from a different perspective, where relationships come into play here. Because as we're evolving and we're shifting our blended vibration, we fall out of agreement with people from a vibrational perspective. You're always in vibrational agreement with whoever you're in relationship with.
Hey everyone, I'm thrilled to welcome Cindy Edison, who is a conscious channel for the collective consciousness named Joseph. Joseph represents the vibration of New Earth, and they're here to teach us how to evolve our soul into expanded consciousness to the New Earth vibration. Joseph is also teaching, their main teachings are the evolved teachings of Seth and Abraham. And I'm super excited to welcome Cindy Edison to the Celeste Evolve podcast. Welcome, Cindy. How are you doing?
Tanya, thank you so much. So nice to be here. A nice introduction, too. Thank you. We'd like to add to your description of the conscious channel, the blended. We are a blended channel, and we can get into that later if you want, but I just need to throw that out there because it's part of our teaching
Thank
for
you so
everyone.
much.
So we can talk about that later. How are you?
Of course. Thank you for correcting me. And let's get started with how did you start channeling the Joseph Collective?
Oh, it was a long time ago. I was always interested in psychics and channelers, but not to the degree that I went to find channelers. I did visit many psychics with friends when I was younger. Then it's a long story, of course, but in 2009, I had been in the creative advertising game for about 30 years. And I sat down one evening to write an article on my laptop. And I was sitting there thinking about my headline. And all of a sudden, I just started typing. And it was a letter to me from, now I know as Joseph, didn't know it then. And it started out with Dear Cindy. And 7 or 9, I can't remember, 7, 8 or 9 pages later, I had realized that, I was so enthralled. It was just amazing. Just started hearing them. And since then, it has evolved into this delivery of their message as we evolve. And we all participate in, hopefully, consciously, participate in this shift in consciousness that we're now experiencing. This one is a conscious shift. We have shifted our consciousness many, many, many thousands of times, all within the third dimension of contrast. This one's different. So that's why they are here. That's why I am doing this. And so that's how it all started.
When you say this one is different, so sometimes I get confused as to is this Cindy speaking, or is it the Joseph Collective speaking? So they're always there in the back. How do you know it's them and not you?
Well, they're not. I fought with that a long time, and I know a lot of us do. The first 2 years was, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? And the answer was always the same. I am you. I am you. I am you. So they started teaching me, actually expanding me. Didn't know anything about any of this stuff when I first started. But as I've come up through the ranks, I say, first of all, they are never in the back. This shift in consciousness is a complete shift in our perspective as the physical aspect of God, of our non-physical soul. We refer to God as the collective soul. So our soul is, from our perspective, from your soul perspective, the soul is the expanded aspect of you. It is the expanded aspect of the physical, the leader. I call it the leader. They laugh when I say that. But this next step must be done consciously because we are moving into a new realm of experience. This is a vibrational shift, which is why we talk a lot about our sixth sense, which takes us to the next experience, the next realm of experience, which is vibrational. So the blending of the aspects, I'm sorry, I need to turn my fan on. the blending of the aspects is important to this segment of our journey. And the blending comes in, when we talk about blending, we talk about blending the vibration. You know, we are all, every aspect of God, every aspect of the soul is a blended being, meaning that we are always the vibration of our soul. Always we are pure positive love, the source, whatever you want to call it, God. Jesus said it. He told us, you know, almost 2,500 years ago now. We have to stop saying 2000. It's much more than that now. He said that God, you know, God, the kingdom of God is within you. And that evolved translation is the kingdom is the Christ consciousness, the God consciousness that creates us. It's our creator, the source, the vibration, the consciousness of who we really are. We are aspects, this physical being of us, this that we refer to as the human, is an aspect that was created to experience this particular realm of consciousness that the human has called the third dimension. You know, we don't label anything like that because it, you know, it puts an attachment to it that it's lesser than, but it's not. It's just a different experience for the aspect. And the whole purpose of us being created to come here to experience a contrasting vibrational realm is so we can expand the soul, the universe, God, the Godhead, you know, and we do that by choosing. So when we first got here, you know, and the soul is creating new aspects all the time. We are in the process now, collectively, creating another aspect who will experience the fourth dimension. This is constant expansion. So the blending of us is the blending of the physical vibration who makes up you, the beautiful me, the beautiful everyone who's listening, the physical that is in vibrational agreement with the realm of consciousness that we are experiencing and our soul. So as we journey through this third dimension of contrast, which is contrasting choices, contrasting opportunities, choices, meaning, you know, we get to choose. And the more we choose love, the more we are choosing to behave like or to expand our awareness of who we really are as the soul of love. When we are, and it's such a big subject, it's really hard to, you know, pinpoint, but when we are creating from the contrast, which we all are, we are in vibrational agreement with the contrast. We are dominant in the vibration of the contrast. Of course we are. That's why we're here. We've always been creating dominantly, asking dominantly. When you ask, it's given. It's a vibrational gift. We ask the universe by our focus. And up until this point, the physical vibration of us has been our dominant creative force. You can tell by what we've created here. War, famine, abuse. It's horrible the way we treat each other. But it is in perfect alignment with the contrast. So as we have evolved, and we've been evolving since we stepped foot here, through different timelines, all evolving, but all in vibrational agreement with the contrast, being the dominant creative force. Now, this realm that we're stepping into, our next experience of the fourth dimension we describe as the next experience for the human that will create an experience that is dominantly asking for and creating a physical experience that is dominant in love. So as soon as we get to the point, 51%, where we are, our blended vibration is 51% that of our soul, we have now shifted into a new realm of consciousness. And we begin a new journey that is creating from love, naturally and habitually, but it must be done consciously, because this is all we've known. And this is part of the teaching that we offer. And as we do that, you become more and more blended with that of your soul vibration, and the gifts, the abilities that your soul has, the vibrational capacity, let's say, which is vibrational communication. This is how the universe communicates with all its aspects vibrationally. So the more so this is why we say this, and this is why we say, please add blended to your description, because we want people to understand that this is not only me, this is you and everybody, every aspect, every single aspect. The more you invite and expand your own awareness to include more of your soul vibration, consciously done, the more of those abilities are available, because we have to be in vibrational agreement with them in order to experience them. So we are all channels, we will change that word too, but we are all channels, and channeling is just vibrational communication. And the more you step into and experience the awareness of your soul, the more of that comes. It's the intuition that expands, and we go, wow, this is really cool. And we start focusing more on inviting loving experiences and asking for loving experiences, as opposed to the out of alignment, my word, not theirs, mess that we have created here unknowingly, you know. But as we get more and more in tune with the power of our creative ability vibrationally, the more we create from love. And that's how we move forward on our evolutionary path. That's how we do it.
Hey guys, if you've been enjoying this video so far, please make sure to support this channel. You can either subscribe to the channel, leave a like or a comment, or even share it with your family and friends. Apparently, it helps with the algorithm and I have no idea how that works. Also, I'm sending out weekly love notes where I'm sharing with you my own personal spirituality journey, and also will keep you posted on the upcoming community events that we have. We have a lot lined up for you. We've got group channeling events, Akashic record reading events, and a lot of such community events that I think you're going to absolutely love. All you have to do is go to www.celesteevolve.com/love notes. Now let's get back to the video. When you said at some point that when I say this they laugh, how do you know they're laughing? Can you see them?
I can hear them.
You can
You
hear
see,
them.
the blended, I feel their smiles. I feel, now, of course, this again is vibrational communication. Okay. So when I first started doing this, when I first sat down to write that article, and it just came in out of the blue, it wasn't like I couldn't control my hands. It's hard to describe, but it wasn't anything like that. I never thought in a million years I would ever be doing this. It's not anything that scared me. It was always very cool to me. But, when I sat down to do that, I was so focused on it at that point, it just took over. And not like I couldn't have stopped any minute. It's never, ever like that. It's never a forcing. But I feel it's me being in alignment with my soul. And this is why we harp on alignment so much, because alignment is where your soul's eternal path is. So when I am in alignment, which is I focus on more than not now, since they started, it's been many phases of this, but I can feel like when I'm doing interviews, and even when I'm coaching and sitting with a client, I can feel the vibration of the collective me, which is my soul. You have a collective too. Everybody has a collective of soul. It's just a different vibration than is available. Anybody who has experienced alignment, we can describe it like this. If you've had children, you've had a daughter, at least I know of one. And anybody who's had children, they describe it like this. And I'm participating here. You can tell when I'm participating. But the first time your newborn baby is handed to you, and I've not experienced that, unfortunately, but we hear it over and over and over, where the woman says, I never thought, I can't describe it. I never thought I could love something so much. It's an indescribable feeling of overwhelming love. And when I am in alignment, I feel a loving vibration that's just running through my body all the time. And so I feel, and it's taken some time, I'll tell you that, but I feel like a group. I'm the mouthpiece, and I participate as the representative of the human as we all journey through this next segment. So it's a feeling of recognition, and they are speaking. You can always tell, if I'm going to smart off or something, I'll always say, this is me, not them, because I don't want to ever give the impression that they're smart asses. I'm the smart ass in this group. And they encourage me to be who I am, which of course they would always do. So when I say they, I'm including me in that group because that's part of the blended understanding, because we're talking about vibration. So in this moment, and until this interview is concluded, they are 95% of what's coming through to you. I am participating and totally, here, but the words are theirs. They are blocks of thought. They are streams of thought, streams of getting their point across. I don't have to think about what I'm going to say. It just comes through because they're dominant within me now.
So, how is then what is a higher conscious? I mean, not higher consciousness. We say that we have a higher self, right? So, what is the higher self?
Well, we would refer to that as the soul. There are so many labels for what we're talking about. A lot of people talk about or teach that there are many levels of the self, and we describe that as many aspects of the soul. We are connected on so many levels. We try to keep it very simple because of our mission here to get us to the next spot. But if we were to talk about that, every aspect of the soul is experiencing a different timeline, a different vibrational timeline, which offers a different experience. Which is why when we say, when we step into the fourth dimension, there is a whole new area of opportunity for experience because of the vibrational makeup of the fourth dimension. Our souls, the Joseph of me, is experiencing the minimum of the fifth dimension where there is no contrast. That is one area that is present within me, but my awareness as a human reaches to the awareness that I can understand as a human, let's say. So as we expand and as we move into the more expanded levels of understanding, we think less about labeling and naming things. We do that as humans so we can get a frame of reference, you know. But the fact is that there are no levels of awareness. There are just different experiences of awareness. So many people would say that the dense vibrations of the third dimension, it's denseness. Yes, it is denseness, a description that is out of alignment with who we are. We would call it a choice. It's a choosing experience where love is always available, always, because that's who we are. But we choose, usually by default or experientially, we choose to remain in the contrast and create from the contrast because we don't know any better. That's an excuse that we tell ourselves. But now that we're expanding and we say, wait a minute, we don't have to create this anymore. In order to move out of the what the human calls denseness, we have to choose different. We have to choose a different vibration from which to create. So we get a different experience. That's what it is.
So, Jesus, Yeshua, who was Yeshua channeling? Was he channeling? And it seems like there were so many channelers even at that point of time, right? So, what makes Yeshua different?
Well, he would, from our perspective, and he is part of our group. He's part of many groups. He's a teacher. So every group who is teaching, his consciousness is there. So, and he was the first one that came through to me, by the way. And I believe, and I've never asked this, but it was just a knowing. I believe that was because I was familiar with him. Like we all are. He is, he's an example for us. But he exampled alignment. He exampled the human abilities when we are in alignment. He said it many times, you will, I'm going to mess it up, but he was saying, you'll do what I've done more than this, saying that as we expand, we understand how powerful we are. He showed us who we were. We could translate and evolve his message over and over and over and over. He was speaking. His message is clear about who we are. And he told me a couple of years ago, maybe 3 or 4 now, he said, I was there when you stepped into that dimension, and I will be there guiding and teaching when you step into the next one. He never stops teaching us, never stops. But he has too evolved. We don't stand still. The Bible, beautiful work, all channeled, all given as gifts for us, from our perspective, and certainly from mine as a human who has read it many, many times, and had experiences with Christianity, of course. um, it was a guidebook for the human experience. And when you go back now, you see the writings of the Bible, lots of fear, lots of storytelling. This is how they channeled back then. It was all given to an audience who could understand at that level of awareness. So there's no more fear. There's no fear.
So, it's like this, like you call this as the Joseph consciousness, and then this is Christ consciousness. Is it like that?
Well, no, this isn't Joseph consciousness. Okay, so if you had mentioned, and we appreciate that we are teaching from the expanded, consciousness of Seth and Abraham. There's a reason that Joseph came out and said that, and it wasn't to it wasn't to follow there or hold on to their coattails. That's like so ridiculous, so third dimensional. Anyway, it is to
You're
example.
having conversations in the back
All the
with
time.
them while
Yes,
you're
all the time.
speaking.
Yeah, because I hear them laughing. They don't have to go there. They're funny. They're so funny. But it is also an example of the message and where the message comes from. Um, as we expand, our abilities to see and our abilities to understand are realized by us. They are revealed to us when we are ready. So there, the Christ consciousness that is constantly expanding, constantly, the Godhead, that's where the Godhead is, constantly expanding. And as we continue to expand our understanding of that and of our vibrational capacity to understand, we experience more of that. So the consciousness that we are as Joseph is ever expanding, and this is where our soul is now, calling us forward as an aspect of it. Choose love, choose love. The more we choose love, the more we expand our awareness to choose more love and yet create more of that physical experience, including our bodies. Everything we experience in the physical realm here on earth is created non-physically first through our focus, right? It's all manifestations.
Yeah, which is, I was just trying to give an example of that too. Like, if I want to quit my job, first I would make a decision in my head that, okay, I have to quit my job. Then, physically, to make that happen, I have to go to work tomorrow. I have to type it out. Maybe I will not go to work tomorrow. I will sit at home, take a sick leave, and type it out. And then we make it like, then the whole thing has to unfold in the physical dimension. So, are you saying that you did not pursue channeling at all? And it just,
Just happened. No, it wasn't anything. I was always interested in it. But they took me through many stages first. before that happened. This has been, this started happening in 2003. And so it's a very long story, but they took me through preparation stages now that I know, now that I look back and I say, oh, yeah, it really does unfold for us. It really does. And it always unfolds in the way we're not expecting it to. So when you least expect it, which means, this is why when we wrote the books, the Allow Your Soul to Lead series, this is why they entitled it Allow Your Soul to Lead, because at this stage of the game, at this stage of the human evolution, the next step, this next shift in consciousness, we have no frame of reference for. We don't know what it's like to consciously create from love. We've never done it, not as this aspect. And so we're doing a lot of things trying to figure it out. And we can't, this is me talking now. We can't do, they would never say you can't. They would just say it's not going to work. We can't take our third dimensional perspective to this next step. That's what holds us back. We have to step into, which is why we say constantly alignment, 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 and allowing our souls to guide us. And Esther said many years ago, inspired action only, inspired act. And a couple years ago, they started pounding that in my head, Cindy, inspired action, because when we try to figure things out, I have clients who, all of our clients are teachers, and they're saying my business isn't doing well, nobody's coming, I'm trying to do this, my marketing's not working. And we say, yes, because you're trying to grow or create a fifth dimensional business, which it never is, from a third dimensional perspective. And there's no vibrational agreement for that. Every teacher on the planet now, and there are millions, every teacher, including you, has already laid out their path before they got here. They created it. We all created it from the position of alignment in love to create this pathway to assist in the human collective moving forward in many different roles we've taken on. And the inspired action comes at the perfect time. I can't tell you how many times I've said over the years, starting 15 years ago, okay, I'm ready, let's go, I'm ready. When they first told me, we have a big message to deliver, we have all that, I was getting so excited, but I was very young in my understanding. And when I finally realized that, which was probably 5 years ago, when I finally realized that, oh yeah, now I get it. I understand the timing, because we're not on a clock anymore and we're not based on a calendar. Our evolutionary path, our soul's path, is based on events. It is event driven, where timing is everything. It's the readiness of you, as you offering a platform for teachings, and your own evolution always comes first, by the way. But you offering you understood that this is part of your role, is to offer platform and to participate in that offering. And everything unfolds at the perfect time. It always does. If there's one thing that I've learned, it's that. And it's hard for us because we're not used to, because here it's action, 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 do something, throw everything at the wall, see what bounces. And, from the soul's perspective, it's not that at all. The soul knows exactly what it's doing and when it needs to do it. So it's not only the readiness of us as teachers, but the readiness of the audience, to hear it.
So, from their perspective, what is my consciousness? Do they know? Can they see into what is it like that?
Well, you are very evolved. First of all, we want to say, we'll answer that in a second, but we want to say this, that we don't play with the, we understand why you asked. We're just getting this out here because you brought it up. Because we get this question. We don't play in the psychic realms. We are into and teach, because it's part of our message, that self-responsibility and self-discovery is part of this next step. So we don't ever tell anybody what their purpose is. We will tell you that your purpose is one that will grow as you allow your guidance. As you allow your guidance and step out of the way, you will be nudged. You will get the phone call. You will get the idea. You see, we know how frustrating it can be. And it's frustrating from the human perspective, because from a human perspective, we're always trying to figure out what's the next step. We need to figure out, what do I do next? What do I do next? And we're saying, create an experience of joy for yourself, and focus on your own alignment. Focus on the creating of a joyful experience for yourself. That's where all the ideas are. That's where your unfolding is. That's where your guidance is. People say, "Oh, but it's joy." But I went over. I can't. I don't have time to be in joy. And we say, "What? That's your whole purpose. Be in joy, because joy is alignment." When you are in alignment, we know that you have had these experiences over and over. When you are in alignment, you will say, maybe not with these words, and maybe not even out loud, you will say, "Oh, yes, I get that. I get it. I need to do this right now." Or you'll pick up a phone, or you'll go to Amazon. I did this just this morning. I went to Amazon to order something that I've been thinking about for a long time. I need this for the office. And I just go and I just do it. That is indication to me that it's time for a next step. There's never a first step. There's always a next step, because we are unfolding constantly. So your guidance is clear to us. Your purpose is very clear to us. And we will say, stay on this pathway until it doesn't feel right for you anymore. And when it doesn't feel right for you anymore, you will take a sharp right turn into a very big arena. I just saw it. Now, that doesn't mean that this won't expand, because that's exactly what will happen, but it will unfold in a way that you are not anticipating. But everything that we are all doing right now is preparing us for the next step that we would say is available for many over the, we hate to give time for, I'm trying not to, we don't give time frames, but I'm not hearing it. I'm seeing within a 6-month period, because of everything that's happening on the planet now. This is where the timing comes in. It could be tomorrow, could be when we hang up. It's not based on clocks. It's based on vibrational patterns. It's all based on vibration and vibrational agreement, which is why we push and push and push. Focus on your own alignment. That's where all the answers are. People say, "How do I get well? I'm tired of feeling sick. I'm tired of being sick. How do I heal myself?" We say, get into alignment. People say, "How do I find a new job?" Get into alignment. And people go, "Well, I need the path. I need to know, what do I do?" We say, that's the path. Get into alignment. Because when you are in alignment, you are on your soul's eternal path. And everything we chose before we got here, you and I, and everybody listening, everything we chose was created and is sitting on that pathway. Everything. Now, we're not talking about the red sports car. We're not talking about the mansion overlooking the Greek Isles. We're talking about the opportunities for all of those things are in alignment, and how we experience those pockets of joy. Oh, I love that. Thank you. Those pockets of joy are completely up to us. We are free will, free choice, sovereign beings. They never say, "Cindy, don't do that. Cindy, don't do that." If I am stepping into a place where it's not for my highest good, they stop me. They stop me, but they stop me by a feeling. And I've experienced this a couple times, and it happens in a split second. where I knew, and it's interesting because I was approached a few years ago by a guy who said, and I wasn't near ready, and he was way wrong person, but and I'll make the story short, but it's so indicative of this. I was ready to go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's get this out there. And I was approached by a guy who said, I am very familiar with Abraham. I know how they work. I can take this to the next level. And I said and this is through text, and I had no idea who he was. And I went to Joseph and I said, what is this about? And they said, just go with it until it doesn't feel right anymore. Okay. So I did that, and it felt right for 3 days. And he came here. We did some stuff together. It really, within 3 days, the last day when he left here, he sent me an email, and I knew as I was reading the email, this is bad. This is awful. So I wrote back and I said, I'm out. It was split second. When you are open to your own guidance, it's clear. You don't have to think about, is this the right thing or not? Which is the experience you have when you are in alignment. There is a clear way forward for everybody. And that clear way is alignment. And that doesn't mean there's only one way. There are unlimited ways when you are in alignment, because you are creating all of it. And when you are in alignment, you are creating your experiences from the position of love, which means you may not know what it's going to be specifically, but you do know one thing, that it will be a manifestation of joy, of love, of adventure, of excitement and passion, and that there's no failure. There's no mistakes. There's no mistakes anywhere anyway, because we're talking from a vibrational perspective. There's only asking vibrationally, what are you focused on? What are you thinking about? When you're focused on an out of alignment situation, an illness in the body, when you are focused on, I'm so sick, I need to go to the doctor, I need to take these pills, and focused on, how do I get rid of this? How do I get rid of this? You are focused in the out of alignment position, which is making you more, which is, manifesting exactly what you're focused on. You have to shift your perspective.
How do you shift your perspective when you're sick? Because, this is even one of the question that I wanted to ask is, right, when we're talking about new earth and we are like putting down 3D and we're talking about how healthcare, we cannot trust healthcare, the doctors, the way the healing is not right. But then at the same time, when I get sick or when my daughter gets sick, I don't know what are the ancient healing techniques to follow, natural remedies at home. I still have to go to the doctor and they'll give all of these medicines and then we have to like stuff ourselves with it. We don't know what is the other way. How
Well,
do we?
you are so cute. That is with to stuff ourselves with it. That was so indicative. That's how the current human thinks, because that's what we are trained to think. It's out of alignment. The fact is really that from a vibrational perspective, this is a vibrational teaching. Everything we say has a vibrational foundation. So healing, self-healing happens when you are in alignment. When you are in alignment, you understand that there is no contrasting vibration to make you sick. The reason we get sick, and I'll tell you about this in a second about what I just went through. The reason we get sick or have illness is because the body is a reflection of, a creation of our dominant vibration at any time. And if you are dominantly in alignment, chances of you getting sick are none. So I'll tell you that, this 3 weeks ago now. Wow, I can't believe it. I got this head cold. I can't remember the last time I got sick. And I don't take any drugs. I don't take, I take pretty good care of myself, but I don't go overboard with anything. I'm not this health nut or anything like that. I just focus on alignment, and I understand the healing powers of vibration. So I get this head cold. And I said, what is this? It was so awful, really not that bad, relatively speaking. But for me, I felt, holy crap. Well, a few days into it, I said, this will be gone in a few days. So I didn't really think about it as I'm laying there sniffling and coughing and sneezing. Um, and I said to Joseph one morning, like on the 6th or 7th day, it didn't seem like it was getting any better. It wasn't getting any worse. And they said, Cindy, what are you paying attention to? And I stopped and I said, holy mackerel. I had been so distracted by the political scene here in the States. What's going on? It's very intense here now. And they said, get back into alignment. I realized at that point that now I've always paid attention to it. It means a lot to me. I'm very conscious of what's going on and really focused on it. But I shifted my perspective about it in that it took me a couple days because I was into it pretty heavy, watching everything I could to see what was going on. And they said, and as soon as they said that, I said, oh my God, I realized that I had taken a big dip. I had chosen to take this big dip in my vibrational makeup. I was very out of alignment, more than not, because I was focused from the out of alignment position. I found myself responding to people. How can you say that? You've got to be kidding me. And I'm participating. And they always told me, pay attention, you know, get involved from a visual standpoint, but don't participate, which is hard for me to do because I got a big mouth and I want to participate. But as soon as they said that, I realized that I had been focusing more than normal on the out of alignment position. And of course, it would have an effect on my physical body. Everything has an effect on our physical experience, you see. So I started shifting and I didn't stop watching. I just started watching different things. I included more loving things into my mix and I found myself overwhelmed. I would sit in my bed and I'm on the laptop and I would see these loving, I had lost faith in humanity. I just said, I can't believe this is how we are. This is what we are now. And I was so sad about it. So I chose to incorporate loving humanity. And I chose to begin watching where people were helping each other, not being asked to, but just volunteering help. And I could start crying right now about it because it overwhelms me with love to see the real, true humanity of us and the soul of us coming out. And as I started to shift my perspective and shift my focus to more of a loving focus, I could feel myself getting better. I only took airborne for the first 3 or 4 days. I love airborne. And that's all I did and drank a lot of water. And I knew. So it's also a mindset that I know who I really am. I know that my body has the ability to heal itself through my focus on the healing vibrations of alignment, the healing vibrations of love. I know that. Now, if you haven't read Anita Morjani's book, Dying to Be Me, it changed me. It shifted me so much. They had given me many books about channelers and about, that's how they brought me up. They're so cute. But when I read that book, that is a clear teaching about the effects. And she talks about, she's amazing. The effects of fearful vibration and what that manifests in our body. It manifests in our body. And I'll tell you this too, that I would never have considered myself a healthy eater up until about, 6, 7, maybe 8 years ago. I'm a cookie freak. I love cake. I used to be a big junk food person. I just used to when it was better than it is now. But since now I have noticed that as I'm shifting the blended vibration of me to be more in alignment, I'm craving things that are healthy, not by choice. I mean, and I had to introduce myself to these things. I don't want that anymore. And I tried. If I go on a road trip, I want road food, you know? And the last time I had road food was a few years ago. It was a McDonald's hamburger that I hadn't had in years, and I was so excited because I grew up when McDonald's was new to us, and it was really good back then. But I got a burger and I took one bite, and it didn't, and I threw it out because it didn't taste like it used to me, because I'm not who I used to be. It changes your whole physical makeup because vibration's at the core of everything. So physical healing is found in alignment. That's how Jesus healed people. He was the conduit because he was in alignment, funneling through. And this is why he asked, when he asked Lazarus, when he healed Lazarus, when he asked the blind guy, do you want to be healed? You have to have the belief, first of all. Our beliefs are foundational, and our beliefs are out of alignment up until this point. Our beliefs are out of alignment, but in alignment with our experiences.
True. In the last 1 year itself, I have changed a lot. Um, like I was doing this lifestyle blogging thing on Instagram where I would go to these fancy restaurants. They would invite me. I just have to go and eat for free and then post about it. I will get these clothes for free. I post about it and then I can make money of it. I know it's like super fun.
So
I was
fun.
like, that's
Yeah.
it. I was like, this is set. I get invited to these like the most luxurious things. I don't have to pay a dime, even going to the salons. I'll get everything done. Yeah. And I was like, that's it. Finally, I have my second side hustle. I don't have to think about money and all of that. And then something happened in Feb or March where suddenly I'm not able to do these things. Like, I'm not able to go to these restaurants and like there would be so much meat and all of these things, or they would give us these cookies and cakes and these really carb loaded unhealthy food. So for me to eat it and then post about it and then act like it's amazing on my Instagram, it just didn't make sense to me. Even clothes, I don't need so many clothes. So for me to keep wearing these clothes and then showing it off, or these restaurants, going every time, like getting ready, going for those restaurants and doing it, just completely, I can't do that anymore. I changed. And even like, I'm not able to even fake a single post on my Instagram anymore. Like, my Instagram was completely inauthentic for the last so many years. I mean, I'm a very inauthentic person at work. I'm not who I really am at work. Like, I've been faking it for so long. I don't know who I am.
You don't know who you are. You're not alone in that.
Hmm.
Most
Yeah.
most of us don't know who we are because we've been faking it because of the out of alignment role we've been playing since we got here.
Yeah, it's it's different now. Even now, I don't know who I am. It's like I'm still trying to figure out who I am. And every time I speak to, oh, you too,
Oh my
you.
God. I said that to them so many times, and they said, of course you don't. Nobody really does. From our
Hmm.
perspective, from the collective perspective. So this goes back to the human evolution through the third dimension. When we come to understand that, we can understand why we are where we are now. Um, when we first, I'll try to make this really simple and short, but the soul says one day, one moment, let's go expand over there, in that realm of consciousness, because there's unlimited opportunities out there, right? Galaxies we have no idea that even are out there. So the soul says, let's go, as a collective, it says, let's go. And it says, well, we need to create an aspect of us who will experience that, because the soul doesn't come here because it's not in a vibrational agreement with the contrast, right? It comes here through us. So it creates this aspect. Ta-da, here we are. We dive in. And our first experience in this realm, we have no idea who we are at all, because we've now, been created to enter a new realm that we've never experienced before. Almost like what we're getting ready to do right now, into this next realm of experience. We don't know who, but this will be conscious. So we come here, our first lifetime here, we're looking around and we begin creating unknowingly, because we are creators at the very core. We begin creating, but we're creating from our five physical senses, from what we see, what we hear, what we touch, what we smell, everything outside of us, we begin creating our reality from. It's all we know. Fast forward, so we're creating 99% of our experience from the contrast and 1% from love. When we feel love, that's the soul standing up going, I'm over here. Every time we come back, we are evolving, expanding our awareness because our soul is guiding us. So we go from 99 blended being, 99 1 to 95 5 to 90 10 to 80. And this takes thousands and thousands of lifetimes because we're expanding. And every time we come back, we're visiting a new vibrational timeline that's now in agreement with who we are now. Aspect, 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 vibrational agreement. So here we stand now, 50-50. Now we're aware and we go, wait a minute. We don't have to create this chaos anymore. And why are we creating it? In steps Joseph, in steps Bashar, in steps millions of other teachers coming and saying, yes, you're getting it. Here we are. Let's move forward. And so when we now are aware of that and we consciously shift our perspective to that of our soul, then we're at 51-49. And we are now dominant in the soul vibration. And things start to reveal themselves to us. Abilities that we have reveal themselves to us. And we begin creating, going, holy crap, this really does work. I'm creating from love now because now our dominant focus is on love and not fear. So now we're calling out to the universe saying, I want to experience this. And so now we go from 49-51 to 60-40, 75-25. And then we get to, this, the fourth dimension is the bridge for us to get our feet wet in this experience of creating from love. And then we're at 99% love and 1% contrast. And we step over into the new earth vibration. That's 100% soul. And we're creating that aspect right now.
It sounds like it's like right there when people talk about it. Oh, they talk about this big solar flash. What does it mean? Is it something that we can see with our physical eyes? Is it like one flash, or is it like a flash that's going to last for a couple of days, or is it like something we can't even see?
We don't, it's, first of all, it's not something that's never happened before. It's not anything that has never happened before. People say, like the blood moons and all the moons, and we've got this big thing. They have been happening. They are universal movements. They're universal movements. It is only when the audience becomes aware of more to experience, you start to name things. Oh, I never saw that before, so I'm going to call it that. We say, sit back and enjoy the ride. That's what we say. And because when you're in alignment, when you are focused on alignment, your soul will guide you toward those new experiences. But we need to be in vibrational agreement with the soul in order to experience those new agreements. So the people who say this is all hogwash and it's all bullshit and the solar flare doesn't mean anything, it's not, it's all fake, and all this stuff, they will not experience those things because they are not open to a belief that's different from what they're currently holding. And that's fine. Everybody will evolve on their own time. Our time frame is eternity. There's no time frame to
For
this evolution.
eternity.
Yeah. There's no time frame. But we say the opportunities are there to understand more and more and more. We had a question a few years ago. Somebody said, well, what's the speed of light, trying to trick us. And we said that, well, we would never put a number to that. And it depends on what you think the speed of light is, because you haven't discovered it yet. We discover, our scientific discoveries as humans are certainly advancing all the time as the human becomes more and more aware of what's out there. The technology advances. I mean, look at it just in our lifetimes. I mean, holy crap, it's huge. But just because you have defined a speed of light as this doesn't mean that it won't expand either. It's what your understanding is at this time. We go into these, we answer these questions very vaguely because you are in an unlimited, ever expanding universe. And the way to expand your own experience of it is to stop limiting it. This is what we think the speed of light is today. Isn't that cool? Wait till tomorrow, we say. We want everyone to experience the fullness of humanity, of you as a physical aspect, and we want you to know how powerful you are. And the more of a vibrational understanding that you can invite into your own awareness, you can't even imagine the experiences that are ahead of you. Amazing that you can create for yourselves. And when you begin recognizing yourselves as blended beings and working together in the co-creations consciously with your soul, the possibilities are just unlimited to experience. It's just amazing. It's amazing. And we say, open up to all of it. Yeah.
I seem to be getting more and more blended consciousness, like channelers like that. And I don't think I've ever seen that before. Like when I usually watch podcasts, I don't see that. But then on my podcast, I'm seeing more and more people like that, where, we are communicating like that. I feel like more people are, this seems to be becoming the more norm. And when you talk about the solar flash too, when I watch the other podcasters, I hear stuff like there's going to be the big solar flash, there's going to be 3 days of darkness, then the elections are going to be all of that. And then when I ask the same question to the guests who come on my podcast, it would be like, it's like it's not such a big deal. It would happen to, it's not like this major event, you have to be in alignment. So then when I see all of these YouTube videos where it's like the big solar flash is right here, it's happening tomorrow, today, tonight, in the next 5 minutes, so I'm like, oh
Yeah.
man, shut up.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
it depends, it really depends, because definitely there are energies flowing into this realm that we're in right now. And we did a podcast right before the April 8th eclipse, when everybody was doing them and, oh my God, what's going to happen? It's going to happen. And I think we were a big disappointment because we said, look, you can definitely benefit from the energies, you know, get into alignment, soak up the energies, know that there have been eclipses since the beginning of time, since the beginning of eternity, whenever that was, you know,
whenever that was.
so you can make of it what you choose. Some people, we say, we think the retrograde, uh, some people, we think the retrograde has been given a really bad rap, just like the ego was given a really bad rap. And we say, sit back and enjoy the retrograde. The retrograde, we would say, is an opportunity to experience more. It's an opening. It's an opening. Now, it depends on what your belief is. A lot of people teach retrograde is bad, get under your bed, all of this stuff, but there is no fear here. There is no fear here. The universe acts from love and vibrational agreement, which is why your focus is what brings you what you're asking for vibrationally. So we say, Jesus said, ask and it is given, seek and you will find, knock and the doors will be opened. We say, ask for love or ask for peace, seek love, and focus on alignment, and the doors of wisdom open for everybody.
In New Earth, are there going to be marriages anymore?
I'm sorry, they're going to be what?
Would there be marriages, romantic relationships in the New Earth? I mean, not romantic relationships, like this legally binding thing called marriage. Would that exist in New Earth?
Well, we would say no. We would say that marriage itself is a human construct, um, and I know this from I think it was history class. I don't remember. I didn't pay much attention to history. That marriage first came, was a something that was for farming or something,
Yeah,
or,
a
it wasn't about
properties like,
love. Yeah. To help
yeah.
people or to whatever, well, it doesn't matter. If I'm a big proponent of marriage. I loved being married. It was good when it was good. But no, because there won't be human laws. The only laws will be the universal truths. When you're in alignment, you would never consider, because the vibration isn't there, first of all, and your focus wouldn't be there. You wouldn't even, just like the soul. The soul doesn't do bad things. The soul doesn't ever guide us out of alignment. You know, we do that. We choose that. But the universal laws will govern, just like they govern the universe. You can't buck that system. Universal truths, we prefer, are vibrational. They're all vibrational, and they are foundational. You can't change them, and they are based on self-responsibility because they are vibrational, and no one can choose for you vibrationally. Only you. We're very unique individuals, and when you are in alignment, you are serving the universe.
So how can we connect with, I mean, I don't know, maybe you would say we were all connected. How do we connect with the Joseph Collective? And can we get like proof that this is the Joseph Collective, like physical proof? Like,
What would you like?
I see Joseph written
Yeah,
here.
here I am. I am the physical proof. I am
Oh,
the
yeah.
physical proof. No one else can channel Joseph. They told me that early on. And that's pretty typical. And that, for a couple of reasons, not to be snotty, but because they have been speaking from the human aspect, they have been my group forever. My purpose, my soul's purpose for this aspect is to teach, just like you have a specific purpose that you've done every single lifetime. And as we evolve, it comes out differently based on the readiness of the audience. We've both been what is referred to as witches. We've both been in the helper mode, helping humanity, and our heads have been cut off, and we've been in shackles and burned at the stake and all that stuff, be based on the awareness of the audience. There are many, many millions of teachers who were always here. The teachers are always here. You certainly don't have to believe in us. We're not here. We're not here to convince anyone. Um, Teachers who are channeling, trans channeling, unaware. They say they are unaware, and on a certain, we first of all, we would never speak for another channeler. We are very unique. We come out with this type of channeling because we want everybody to know that they are also connected to their soul. And we must example what we teach. So the more you blend yourself, in the fifth dimension, in the new earth experience for the physical aspect, it won't be this physical aspect. It'll be a manifestation of the vibration of 100% love. It will be a manifestation of the soul as a physical being, a different physical being that is in agreement with that realm of consciousness, like they all are. The vibrational laws don't change. So we are here to deliver a message to assist. It resonates with a lot of people. It doesn't resonate with everybody. In the beginning, I was afraid to come out and say, this is conversational for us. I tried in the beginning, I tried to be a trans channel. As soon as I knew I was a channel or I was receiving information, I tried to do it the way other people were doing it. And I kept saying to Joseph, this isn't working for me. And they said, that's not who you are. And I would keep trying, and they would say, why isn't this working? It's not who you are. They're very consistent telling me it's not who you are. It's not who you are. Well, what do? Just focus. Just focus.
How
And
did
I
you
said,
try to do a trans channel?
I tried to go into a meditation. I tried, which worked. I mean, I could still, because my goal was to focus on them, but I had a different route I thought I had to take. And what they kept telling me was, you're putting too much effort in. You don't have to do that. You don't have to go into a meditation. And so what I discovered through that understanding took a while, and I'm still discovering more and more. It just continues to grow. But what I discovered was the more the more I trust them, who knew? The more I trust them and just focus. And they said to me a year ago, we want you to include us more in your day to day life, not only when we're being interviewed, not only when you're with clients, with you. That's our purpose here, is to expand our aspect first. And I went, oh, yeah, well, that makes sense. So I do include them. I include them. I live alone. I don't have a lot of friends. I don't have any friends here. They're all over the place, but not here. So I spend most of my time alone, and I really like it, actually. Um, and so when I included them, we watch TV together. I don't want anybody to think it's crazy, but they're in my head, and I'm thinking, what do you think about that? And I'm constantly asking for their perspective on things from a human perspective, because I am constantly looking to evolve. And the more I focus on them and understand their message, understand more of who I am, it makes my ability to share it and example it for others that much better, because we are authentic. The teachers of today who are teaching from the fifth dimensional perspective are authentic. And that's what comes across. People are People will either resonate with the Joseph vibration. I hear it all the time. I hear it all the time. They resonate with the Joseph vibration, and they're led to the Joseph material. They are teachers in some form or another. We're all teachers, first of all. But when we are invited to participate, I don't have to ask Joseph. They bring to us those who are ready to hear it. In the past, what year is this? 24. In the past 8 years, I've had two clients that said, I don't understand what you're saying. I don't, and just, we ended up hanging up on each other. Two out of hundreds, you know. So it's a vibration. And they always told me, they said, you don't have to third dimensionally market anything, because the vibration will call the audience. And it always has. It always has, which is part of the fifth dimensional business, you know.
When I first saw the form that you filled it, right? I thought that it was probably a virtual assistant because you were speaking like as if you were the representative of someone else, right? So I thought that maybe Cindy is representing someone else, like another physical person, but it's it was like blended in. And when you said that, they want you to just speak to them, it when I tried, like, and you before that you said you don't like to use the word channeling. I also kind of don't like that word. What other word can I use?
We I have been asking them for a while, and we're going to be writing a lexicon. I can't wait for that, because I always say, "There's no word for this, Joseph. I don't know what's in." They say, "Yeah, we know." Um, we say communicating, receiving. Anything is receiving, but channeling has such a, it's got this stigma attached to it. That's why I don't like it. Channel, people go, "Ooh, that's scary." I'm like, no, it's the most natural language that we all come in. When we come into a new realm, this one or any other that we'll experience whenever, we come in fully equipped to evolve through it, to expand, fully equipped physically. That's why we have the organs. That's why we have the eyes, the hands, you know, the mouth to speak, to communicate within the realm. And the vibrational communication we have too, so we can communicate with our creator, because that's how the universe creates with, or communicates with all of its aspects, is vibrationally. That's where we're connected. We're all connected at the soul level, at the non-physical vibrational level, something we all understand. And the resonation with any particular message, I through this since 2003, I've been led to many, many teachers, resonating, resonating, resonating. And I know when I'm done with that teacher. And then I move on, and then I'm shown a new one as we evolve. And that's, teachers play such an important role in our evolution, you know. And as we expand, a new teacher is provided, you know, for the next level of understanding. It's beautiful, unfolding. So just communicate.
Communicate, it's a nice word. I've been wanting to channel. So I took these courses, and I'm so fascinated by channelers, and I try to do that. And then so I would they said that you've got to spend 2 to 3 hours in silence, and and then you have to try, like moving your mouth, and then something would come up, and then like open your vocals, activate your vocals, and all of those kind of things. But I've started realizing that sometimes when I'm like really confused, like for example, I was just thinking that this podcast that I'm doing, like I don't feel like I've done enough work. Like I'm not eating vegetarian food. I'm always eating junk. I'm, I'm always like, I can't control the cheese lace and all
Love
of
that.
that stuff. And I'm like, not like, I don't feel like I'm doing that holy work, because I'm doing a lot of these kind of things. And so okay, from tomorrow I'm going to do water fast. I'm going to do water fast. And then it doesn't happen. Like the tomorrow I wake up and I just start eating like as normal. Like I love food. I eat a
Yeah,
lot.
me too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I was just sitting like, and then I'm just, sometimes I just sit, like close my door, and I sit and ask, Yeshua, I feel like I'm not like perfect for this work. What should I be doing? And then like what the thing that comes through is, nobody is perfect. Like, so I try to do this practicing thing where I only say the answer to the questions that I ask. And the answer that said was, nobody is perfect. You just have to be a channel to receive the guidance. And I know that this is not my words, because this is not who I am. I'm very hard on myself. Um, like I'm never satisfied with the work that I do. So I know that I'm channeling something. Maybe it is Yeshua. Yeah, probably it's Yashua itself. But the way I do it is not at all like anybody else that I see. It's not like my voice doesn't change, nothing changes, nothing fascinating
Right. So you
happens.
think there's something wrong with you, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So did I. And they kept saying, oh, Cindy, oh, Cindy. And, you know, it's the perspective. It's the perspective. This is what I came to understand, that we have this perspective that if you're not doing what they say you're supposed to do, how other people do it, you're doing it wrong. And we immediately say, I'm doing it wrong. I can't do it. I'm not worthy. And we go down this rabbit hole, and we create a pathway for ourselves to experience that out of alignment belief that we've been told to believe. Well, that is totally wrong. First of all, everybody is a channel. That's why I hate that word. Everybody is a communicator. Everybody, because the kingdom of God is within us all. The consciousness of your soul is who you are, and your soul never leaves you high and dry. You know, we did a post one time that says, this is not verbatim, of course, it's my smartass, but um, we didn't put you there to leave you. We didn't, I'm screwing it up. It was such a good one too. We didn't put you there to just let go of you. You are not a balloon. So they're always with us. In the beginning of my writings with them, from the first time, and I was, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Who are, and we are you. We are you. We are you. Never wavered from that. Never. We are you. Live it, live it, live it, live it. And so now it's all, I mean, 20 years later, it's all coming back. But it is so hard for us. It was for me. And I understand the frustration that you have with this. Um, it is, it is pounded into our heads. You must meditate. You must do this. If you don't channel like this person channels, you're a fraud, and we're not going to listen to you because, but you just asked the question too. How can you prove to me that Joseph is real? I don't have to prove it to anybody. We don't care if you believe in us or not. We're giving you, we're giving you a message, you know? And so It doesn't matter. We say, don't kill the messenger, look at the message, because everybody channels differently. And we would say, and they always said, you're being too hard on yourself, Cindy. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. So we would recommend to you, you just have to shift your perspective about it, first of all. That's the bottom line. And in order to do that, you have to experience it, which is kind of a catch-22. Well, how do I change my perspective if I can't experience it? And I can't experience it unless I shift my perspective. It's kind of weird
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
But the way I did it, I can tell you the way I did it. And all you have to do is say, show me. That's all you have to do. And you will find, and they will give you your unique way. And then just be open. Just be open to it. It might be a hot salt bath. It might be during a conversation you're having with somebody. It might be during a meditation. It might be during when you're walking your dog or talking to your daughter. It doesn't matter. It will get you at the most inopportune time. Inopportune, but we're not thinking about it, because when you're in joy, you're open to it. You're open to it. So I'm going to tell you what they're telling me to tell you right now is all you have to do is focus. And the focus is on alignment because that's where the communication is. Joy, 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 joy. But I'll tell you, it took me a while because I got some heat for it. And so I said, well, people are saying she's a fake. And I'm like, I'm saying to Joseph, wait, why? And they said, it's not your audience.
And for you, especially, when you don't hear Joseph, because we know that there is we know the group of people channeling Saint Germain or Yeshua or Mary Magdalene or Christ consciousness. I don't know if anyone channels Christ consciousness, but then there are these
They're
names
all,
that
well,
is kind of
okay, we're going to say they're all channeling from the Christ consciousness. From the Christ all of every channel is channeling an aspect of themselves in some form or another, because you have to think about it vibrationally. So when someone says, when you're in alignment, you can channel. I mean, I used to channel the dead people. That was how I started, how they started me with this, because I just never thought that I couldn't, because I understood the vibrational communication. So that's how they got me, kind of. It was kind of fun. I just never thought I couldn't. And so I was never thought I wanted to. It was weird. I was sitting with a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine, on the cusp of a Labor Day weekend. And I said to him, what are you guys going to do this week? Him and his wife, what are you guys going to do this weekend? And he got really quiet. And I said, what's the matter? And he said, well, Shar, she'll have a party and I'll sit in my office. And I said, what are you talking about? What's the matter? And he began to tell me the story about how his younger brother had been killed on Labor Day weekend, 25 years prior to that. And he had never been able to celebrate with anybody because he was so close to him. And I said, and just out of the blue, here's a nudging. This is the inspired action again. Never did it before. Never thought about doing it before. All of a sudden, I said to him, want to try to bring him up? And he looked at me and he said, I don't know what you mean. Now I had been channeling, I hate that word, channeling Joseph for a couple of years. They were teaching me about vibration. And I said, you want to try to bring him? And he said, well, you think you can? I said, I don't know why I can't. I was very haphazard about it. I mean, it just really, lackadaisical. I didn't even give it much thought. And he said, what do you have to do? And I said, I don't know. Just start thinking about him. Tell me his name and just start thinking about him. And within 30 seconds, I had this picture. And I had this vision, I had my eyes closed and I could see him. And I started laughing. He had this big smile on his face. And I was laughing. I'm kind of chuckling because he was cracking me up. And a young guy in his 20s. And I'm seeing the biggest smile I'd ever seen. And he said, what? And I started describing to him what I was seeing, and he started crying. This is a manly man guy. And he started bawling. He could feel the energy of his brother. And he said, that's him, that's him. And I started describing these visions. I had no idea who he was, never met him. He started showing me through visions these experiences that they had had together, fishing and diving off a pier and all these things. And he's sitting there just bawling. And I was laughing because he was cracking me up. There was so, I'm getting so covered with goosebumps right now. There was so much love in that exchange for me. It came so close, and yeah, I think you should do it, by the way. It came so clear. The vibration was so, there was no not seeing it. It was a great introduction to me. I had no resistance to it at all because I understood the different levels of vibration. And I know that there's no death. So I know that those who have evolved beyond this realm and gone on are still available to us because they're in the universe. They're vibrational. And when you're in alignment, you understand that. And part of Anita Morjani's story is when she was in that space, she, just by shifting her focus, she could see things happening all over the world, wherever she was focused.
So if you see like these documentaries, right, where people are murdered or something happens, can you tune into them and know what actually happened to them?
I don't know. No, I don't know that. I know some people can. I know some people can. I had a vision. I never pursued this because I don't like to, and I think this is one reason, is that although it's intriguing to me, I don't like to be around the vibration of a murder. I don't like that. I don't like to go that low. Um, but it is intriguing. But I remember before any of this started, I was married. I was living in Texas, and I was getting ready for work one morning and had the TV news on, which doesn't happen anymore in my house. Had TV news on, and they were talking about this little girl who had been kidnapped, and they were looking for her. And I'm in the mirror drying my hair or something, and I saw this vision of this field and this red barn, and I saw her in the barn. And I went to my husband. It was the first thing that never happened to me before. And I went to my husband and I said, "Oh my God, I just saw her." And he said, "Call the tip line." He was open to everything. He had no idea. He was probably thinking I was crazy. I don't know. He never said. Um, but and I did. I called the tip line. I said,
Yeah.
"You're going to think this is nuts," and I'm sure they did. This is back in the early '90s, or I don't know. No, not yeah. It was '90s. It was like anyway. And I told them, and they said, "Thank you." But it was so clear. I saw her. I saw her, and I don't know whatever happened. But I was moved to that. Now, that was an experience that led me to understand the abilities that we have. That was one of the first that I went, "Oh, that's really cool." And for me, there was no questioning that it was real for me.
You had mentioned that you were married before. I was married and I got three times. Oh, yeah, right. I heard that you were married three times. But you know what's interesting? Everyone who comes on my podcast are all married two to three times. What is this? Is this a new earth phenomenon?
No, you know what I think it is now? I mean, I look back
Mm.
now, all great guys, and just really, just went in different directions. Um, what I understand now is that, and not only with marriages, I loved being married. I don't see a reason for it, but I loved being married. I mean, you do it, whatever. But I understand it now from a different perspective, where relationships come into play here. Because as we're evolving and we're shifting our blended vibration, we fall out of agreement with people. I had a huge group of friends that I don't have anymore. I still love them from afar, but we have nothing in common anymore. And that commonality is vibrational. They think I'm nuts. They just kind of laugh at me, lost a couple family members. That's okay. But as you are from a vibrational perspective, you're always in vibrational agreement with whoever you're in relationship with. So if you're in a toxic relationship right now, not you, but anybody, um, that is a perfect, our manifestations are our mirrors. I don't like that word either. Our indication of what vibration we are leading with. What's our dominant vibration? you know so and who we think we really are. If I think and if I have a belief that I am unworthy, I am attracting other people who are also unworthy in their own minds for themselves, which is why so many marriages break up, because they're all out of alignment, because we are all out of alignment.
And at this moment in time, it seems like we are evolving at such a fast pace. Like everybody is evolving so fast. So it makes sense that we, like these relationships also are, like you said, it's happening too fast, right? You know, when we say new earth, right? How can we ensure that we don't miss the new earth train? Is that possible?
No, it's not possible. And, you know, first of all, we are all choosers. You're choosing wherever you go. Your soul has a purpose. This aspect of you, of me, of everybody, every human will ultimately evolve beyond the third dimension. You can come back as long as you want, but you're always going to evolve. That's the purpose. The overall purpose of any aspect is to expand in whatever form you're in. So every human, now you can choose to come back here or not. Doesn't it, you know, there's no shoulds. You have to, you should. There's none of that from the soul perspective. You know, we're all about expansion. But you will, because when you are with your collective soul, you want to expand. You know, that's a desire. It's a desire to know more, desire for another experience.
We have a segment called, it's the final segment of the podcast where it's called the Cosmic Close, where I ask a question. I asked just two questions. Yeah, it's the Cosmic Close. So the first question is, how may we be free of suffering and enjoy eternal happiness?
Now, after this whole podcast, an hour and a half, what do you think we're going to say? Get
Alignment.
into alignment. Yeah, because no suffering, you have to look at everything from a vibrational perspective. And suffering cannot happen from the position of alignment because there is no vibration from which to create it. Everything that's out of alignment with love is in the third dimension. It's a choice. It's just a choice. I used to say to Joseph all the time, this is really hard. When they started pointing out to me, you have to choose, Cindy, you have to choose. I'm like, choose what? What am I choosing? You know? I'm like, oh, yeah, there's other choices that manifest differently. And they said, you choose in every moment because you're choosing by way of your focus. So if you're choosing to focus on, lack of a better word, the bad stuff, you are calling to you more bad stuff, more suffering, more illness. You're experiencing what you're focusing on.
I liked it when you asked, what do you think we're going to say? Okay.
When people go, can you say something? I said to Joseph one time, are we ever going to talk about anything but vibrational alignment? And they said, no. And I said,
It's
okay,
getting boring.
it's boring. Yeah. And
This,
they say, no. When you're in alignment, it's not boring. Oh,
yeah, I
yeah.
mean, even Bashar has the same message. Abraham has the same message. And like, trust me, I watch, even if it is the same message, I keep watching it over and
Yes.
over and over
Yes.
again.
Yes. Because it constantly expands. Because the more time, again, the more time you spend focused on the messages of of everybody who resonates with you, you'll hear it in a different way. We're all saying the same thing, you know, in a different way, using different words with a different perspective, but it's all about focusing on love. That's how we expand. Yeah.
True. The second question is, what is the nature of this reality that we are in right now?
It's contrast. The nature, you mean the third dimension?
Hmm.
Yeah. The
Anything
nature
that
of
you understand as?
well, okay, let me give you two perspectives here. From our perspective as the collective, the nature of the third dimensional realm of experience is choice. So the nature is to offer choice. And so you have two choices in front of you in every single moment. In the blink of an eye, you have two choices. One is in alignment and one is out of alignment. Within those two choices are unlimited opportunities for experience of your choice. So that's the nature. A choice. This is a choice, a choosing segment for the human. This next step.
Makes sense. Is there any final advice or message from the Joseph Collective? to anyone who watches this video?
Yeah, we would say, oh, there's so much we could say. We would say, focus on love, 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 focus on joy, really consciously choose an experience. Consciously choose an experience. We have been, as humans, we have been choosing our experiences by way of our beliefs. So I believe I'm unworthy, and I create an experience of that belief for myself. Vibrational. Every belief is vibrational. They're all out of alignment. So we would say, flip that over, choose an experience, and then create a belief that will manifest that experience. So one might be a loving relationship. Somebody wants a loving relationship. Really want to be in a loving relationship. Okay, so how do you believe you can create that? By becoming that. So I am going to become a loving person, knowing that the dominant vibration of me that I am emitting all the time when I'm walking through a crowd, when I'm sitting at work, when I'm on the phone, I am emitting a vibration, and all the time I am calling a match to that. So if I am emitting a loving vibration about myself, I am calling out to other people who love themselves. And nothing can be better relationship than that. Two people who love themselves coming together to partner in love. Wow. Fantastic. Great manifestations from that relationship.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Really nice.
I
This has
love
been
that
fun.
message. Cindy, can you tell us where we can find you and the work that you do?
Yeah, it's all on the website. We'll lead everybody. It's the teachingsofjoseph.com. The books are on there. They'll flip you over to, I think you can read an excerpt, I think, either there or on Amazon. They'll take you over there. Our quotes of the day are on there. Follow us on Instagram. I post on there every single day. Joseph's quotes are great. That's the teachings of Joseph. Um, That's it. We're not big on social media. Instagram is it right now. But the website will take you to our YouTube channel, and there's a bunch of information there you can watch. That's about it. We are easy to get in touch with.
I've loved the teachings of Joseph. I watched a couple of videos. There's a lot of books. I didn't get the time to read all the books, but I've watched the videos. And all the links that's mentioned by Cindy would be there at celestevolve.com/episode /31. You can find it all there. And Cindy, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and speaking with us. It's been a pleasure. I love the message that you gave. And it's really nice. I'm getting used to blended consciousness and people speaking like a collective. It's like we are having,
Yes.
yeah, it really feels like the veil is thinning, right?
Yes.
It's like we're all together as a family.
Yes.
So I love that.
And I'll
Thank you
just
so
say,
much,
well, you're so
Cindy.
welcome. And the more you think about that, the better it will feel. But I'll tell you this, that veil that everybody talks about, the veil is created by us. There's no veil. The veil is the veil of fear. The veil is the veil of a contrasting vibration that's stopping you from seeing beyond it. That's all it is. It's a choice. You got to make a choice. That's all it is.
Thank you so much, Cindy. I
Oh,
love
so
that.
nice on
The
you.
veil
Thank
has,
you.
so that all the veil that we created has now been disintegrating.
Yeah. It's not just look over it. Go like this. Oh yeah. Thank you, Tanya. It was so
Oh,
much fun.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.